Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextstepnick.com and let's talk a little bit about Convoy. So first things first, thank you very much to the developers for a copy of this game. I'm playing on PS4 in this video. I was sent a code, so that's very much appreciated. It's a roguelike style title where you're working on building up a convoy and going out into the wilds in a kind of Mad Max style world full of like deserts and different factions, trying to look for pieces of your spacecraft. Then you can repair that spacecraft and move on. Sounds interesting. You're setting up your convoy when it comes to like your MCV, which can't actually attack or be controlled, it just moves straight forwards. And then you've got your units to defend it, they're like your main control units. And it's quite fun. The actual gameplay itself is pretty enjoyable. There's a lot of different objectives you can go and find. So there's objects you've got to go and find to actually repair the ship itself. But there's other stuff as well. There's different little tiny side quests. There's helping out different villages of people. There's finding special events that might happen as you search around. And you can choose how you respond to those things. Likewise, with the things you've got to go and actually obtain, there is some choice to that. You know, sometimes you can work with people, sometimes you can just kill them off. It's interesting. It has got a nice, unique kind of roguelike style feel to this. For the most of the game, you're controlling from a map view like you can see here, where you're moving around through roads, mountains and other terrain, moving at different speeds whilst also maintaining your fuel, which you can see on the top right, and your screws, which is a bit like your currency. Going around looking for different things whilst also trying to like accomplish your objectives. So you occasionally see what looks like these Wi-Fi signals, and that will be where you've got something going on. But the problem is that here's one, for example. This is the first one I came in contact with when I started the game. So I've seen that there's a load of privateers fighting. Did I want to get involved? I thought, yeah, okay, you know, I'm playing on normal. It's my first fight straight off the bat, and yeah, I get absolutely destroyed. You can control the cars themselves by moving them around, and they basically fire on whatever target you select. There's like your armour, there's also your health, and also your shields. Different weapons do different damage, but you can't really control the MCV, and you can't really make sort of tactical decisions. Plus, it doesn't sound great. Like, don't get me wrong, it sounds okay in theory, because it sounds a lot like things like Red Alert and Command and Conquer, but as you can see, this is one continuous battle. I've got two cars here, and they've got what they've sent at me here. And yeah, it's just, you know, you can't really delegate much in the way of actions or use much in the way of tactics. You're just moving around and hoping for the best, really. You can dodge incoming objects. I mean, I don't manage it in this first fight because I've not really been taught it. The tutorial doesn't really cover it. But the problem is as well, is once you lose your vehicles, there's nothing you can do. So at this point, for example, I can't move my MCV, it just continuously moves forwards. I can't make new units or attack in any way. I mean, I've got like a super weapon that lets me shock people and stun them, but doesn't do anything else. So I'm just trapped here watching people slowly but surely destroy my MCV, and yeah, I mean, even here, oh, maybe I helped sort of drive them into the wall or something. No, they just did it because they didn't move out of the way in time. That being said, it's quite a fun game, and as you start to get used to the game and try to avoid combat, you know, I mean, I avoided combat as much as I could, to be honest, because I didn't have that much of a buzz out of it at first. You do get used to it, you do enjoy it more in time, but the actual world itself is quite fun. It's quite good looking for these different unique events and stuff like that. I'm not that keen on the UI. So on the left-hand side of the screen there, you can see you've got like your shields and your health for your vehicles in your convoy. I feel like it looks kind of bitty. It also doesn't fit well on the screen. So although you've got the full picture here from the recording, on my PS4, on just normal settings for any game I play, some of that UI was cut off, so I couldn't read the text. And the text itself comes up really, really small in this game. That's one thing I would say might need a little bit of an amend, because the text is so small. Here, for example, I literally had to sort of squint at the screen at certain points, and I've got pretty good eyesight. It's very, very, very small writing, and there's a lot of colour and imagery going on. So that's something maybe to look at. As you can see though, you can upgrade your gear, you can repair your items, you can get new members of your convoy to join and increase the number of vehicles you've got. And that's when the game really gets quite fun, because you do start to feel a little bit stronger. You do start to go into battle and actually enjoy the combat, because you've upgraded with like new weapons, new utility items. You've used your screws to buy like additional escort vehicles and stuff like that. But I feel like you don't get that much control is the problem. Sure, you can move backwards and forwards, you can kind of upgrade your cars in regard to their range and their sort of resistance to things like mines and their shields and their armour, and there are weapons that specifically counter armour and shields and stuff like that, but you haven't got that much control, you know? If you go out and you get into a fight against some raiders with really strong stuff, you can try and outrun them. If you don't manage to outrun them, then you're in the fight, and you can't retreat or do any kind of tactic to get away. You're just in there. I mean, this is a fight from later on in the game where I was doing quite well on this run, and we're dominating these guys, but eventually we just got obliterated, because it was a case of you can't really judge how much stronger the enemies are going to get. It's not a case of as the game progresses these enemies get stronger, it's just a case of luck. And the issue with that is you can come out of the gate like I did with my first playthrough and immediately get destroyed, and sometimes you feel like some of that is just random. It doesn't feel like the decisions are kind of telling you whether or not you've got something to expect. I mean, in my first fight, I admit I was destroyed for my own silly reasons, because you read the text and it says it's 2 loads of privateers fighting, so you know there's going to be a lot of vehicles. But later on especially, there are moments where you get jumped by a bandit ambush and there's like 6 cars and they've all got decent stuff and you can't do anything, and they just literally destroy your MCV and that's the end. And it is that kind of game. It lends itself to the whole replayability to unlock new things and start again, but it just feels kind of too random for my liking in some ways, so maybe that needs a bit of tweaking. There's a lot to unlock, so there's a lot of replayability, and I feel like Convoy is definitely something to watch, but I just think there are some little tweaks that need to be done really before I can 100% recommend it. But it's an interesting title, it does something different. Hopefully I see this upgrade over the next few times I play it. Maybe there's going to be some changes and some patches. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again very soon.